Your brain is acting constant dopamine hits, and it's why nothing feels satisfying anymore. So what happens if you cut them for 30 days? Let's find out. Because most people don't realize what modern life has quietly done to their reward system. Every scroll, every notification, every quick sugar hit, every autoplay, it's all pulling on the same lever inside your head. That lever is dopamine. And it's not built for what we're using it for. Dopamine isn't the pleasure chemical people think it is. It's actually the anticipation chemical, the one that pushes you toward a reward. Your brain releases it before the thing feels good, not after. Which means it's designed to make you chase. And a modern world knows this. Apps, ads, snacks, streaming, all engineered to keep you chasing. So when you strip that out for 30 days, something rare happens. Your brain remembers how to feel normal again. Here's what that actually looks like week by week, based on how the brain is now understood to respond to reduced stimulation. In the first 3 days, expect discomfort. This isn't weakness. This is your brain noticing the drop. Your baseline dopamine has been artificially inflated for years. Cutting the spikes feels like withdrawal because, functionally, it is one. You'll reach for your phone without thinking. You'll feel restless in silence. You'll want a snack you're not hungry for. That's the habit loop firing. The cue, the craving, the automatic reach. Neuroscience calls this a conditioned response, and it's stored deep in your basal ganglia. The trick in these first days is not willpower, it's replacement. Every time the urge hits, do something small and slow, a walk, a glass of water, 5 deep breaths. You're not fighting your brain, you're teaching it a new default. By day 4 to 7, the fog starts to lift, but not in the way people expect. Things feel duller before they feel better. This is the low point most people quit at. Your brain has stopped chasing but hasn't rebuilt yet. Scientists sometimes call this anhedonia, a temporary flatness where nothing seems interesting. It's the reward system recalibrating. Think of it like turning the volume down on a speaker that's been screaming for years. At first, everything sounds too quiet. Push through this week, and something shifts. You'll notice you can sit still without reaching. You'll finish a task without checking your phone. That's your prefrontal cortex coming back online, the part of the brain responsible for focus, planning, and long-term thinking. For years, it's been overridden by faster, louder signals. Now it's finally getting the microphone back. Here's what most people miss about this stage. The quiet isn't emptiness, it's space. And your brain hasn't had space in a long time. Around day 10 to 14, real changes begin. Sleep gets deeper, mornings feel less heavy, small things start to register again. You'll bite into ordinary food and actually taste it. You'll laugh at something without needing a screen. A walk outside will feel like an event. This is your dopamine receptors upregulating, a real measurable process where the brain grows more sensitive to natural rewards. When you flood the system with constant hits, the receptors dial down to protect themselves. When you stop, they slowly dial back up. That's why life feels flavorless when you're overstimulated and unexpectedly rich when you're not. People who describe a second childhood after quitting their phones aren't exaggerating. They're describing receptor recovery. But here's the part nobody warns you about. This is also when the old habits try to sneak back. Your brain, feeling better, will whisper that a small dose won't hurt. One scroll, one episode, one quick hit. And it's a trap because the newly sensitive system reacts twice as hard to those spikes. One relapse can undo a week of recalibration. The move here is to stay boring on purpose. Boredom, in this window, is medicine. By day 15 through 21, the internal wiring starts to change, not just the mood. This is where neuroplasticity does its quiet work, the brain's ability to physically rewire based on repeated behavior. Every day you didn't chase a hit, you weakened one neural pathway. Every day you sat with discomfort, you strengthened another. Now those new pathways are becoming your default. You're not resisting old habits anymore. You're forgetting them. Focus becomes longer. You can read a page without your mind wandering. You can hold a thought all the way through. Emotions become clearer too. When you're sad, you know why. When you're anxious, you can name it. When you're content, you actually notice it. That clarity comes from a calmer default mode network, the background brain activity that runs when you're not focused on anything. In overstimulated brains, this network is loud, restless, self-critical. In rested brains, it's reflective and creative. This is the stage where people report ideas returning, memories surfacing, small insights showing up unprompted. Your brain is finally allowed to think. And there's still one more shift coming, the one most people never reach. Around day 22 to 30, the effect becomes structural. This isn't just feeling better. This is becoming a different kind of person. Your cravings don't just weaken. They stop announcing themselves. The phone stops calling. The fridge stops whispering. The mind stops itching. That's because the habit loops themselves have begun to break down. Neuroscience shows that unused pathways get pruned, literally trimmed away, when they stop being reinforced. Your brain is a resource-efficient machine. It keeps what you use and quietly recycles what you don't. So by day 30, some of the old triggers don't just feel weaker, they feel foreign, like remembering a habit that belonged to someone else. You'll also notice that your tolerance for slow, meaningful things has grown. Long conversations feel good. Long walks feel short. Long books feel possible. That's the reward system fully recalibrated. Small rewards land properly again because there's nothing louder drowning them out. And this is the deeper truth of the experiment. Dopamine detox isn't about feeling less. It's about feeling accurately. For years, your brain has been reading the world through a broken meter. 30 days of quiet is how the meter gets fixed. Now, a fair warning before you try this. You don't have to cut every source. That's not sustainable, and is not the point. The goal is to remove the compulsive, low-effort, high-frequency hits, the endless scroll, the binge, the constant snack, the notification loop. Keep the meaningful things. Music you love, meals you cook, conversations that matter, movement, sunlight, sleep. Because dopamine isn't the enemy, it's the messenger. The problem is only how often and how cheaply we've been asking it to fire. If you want to try this, start smaller than you think. Pick one hit to remove first, usually the phone in the morning, or the video autoplay at night. Give yourself 3 days to feel the drop. Add another cut on day 4. Build the detox in layers, not in one dramatic gesture. And keep a simple note each night, one line about how the day felt. That single record does more than any tracker because it lets you see the change while it's happening. Here's the quiet part almost no one says out loud. Most people never feel bored, restless, or still long enough to meet themselves. 30 days without cheap dopamine is often the first time in years that someone sits with their own mind and finds it isn't scary, it's just been ignored. That's the real reward at the end of the experiment. Not more focus, not more energy, not more discipline. A working relationship with your own brain. The kind where you decide what deserves your attention instead of being pulled around by whatever pings the loudest. So if you take one thing from this, take this. The point isn't to punish yourself with restriction. The point is to give your reward system a chance to reset so real life can feel like enough again. Which stage do you think would be hardest for you, the first 3 days or the quiet middle week? Tell me in the comments. I read them. And if this landed, the video on how to rebuild focus after years of overstimulation is the natural next step. It picks up exactly where this one ends. Subscribe and turn on notifications if you want practical brain habits like this every week, grounded in real neuroscience, no hype, no BS. Your brain isn't broken. It's just been fed too much, too fast for too long. 30 quiet days is how you give it back.